Anytime I've used the word automation, I think there's a little bit of fear around that word. And I think it's for good reason. This is a deeply human practice. All of consumer-facing law, but especially personal injury, you are helping people through their toughest moments in life. The idea of stripping out the humanity from it doesn't resonate with attorneys, doesn't resonate with clients, and isn't the Finch principle either. And what most of our attorneys have said to us is, I actually don't think of you guys as a tech company, I think of you guys as a pre-lit company.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon Approved, where we interview those who have been both successful at law and life. And today we're very honored to have from the other coast, straight from New York, Viraj Bindra. What's up, brother?
Sup? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and from New York. So builds technology, one of the most sophisticated AI platforms that I've seen that from the ground up. And Mauro, Fiore, we're in his clubhouse.
Hello.
The law offices of, junior thereof. Yeah. But he's also wearing he's wearing this birdie hat. Look at this. Do you see that?
Bad close birdie. To a Finch.
Bad birdie.
Bad birdie.
So his company, Finch Legal, has their ornament kind of looks very similar, which I like.
I appreciate it. I'll count that as
Did you plan that?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't plan anything, really.
It works out.
I'll take it.
So the first one that, actually, Mauro, this is from your collection. So why don't you do this pour and we'll see.
Yeah, this is a Amador whiskey company. This is a... It's interesting taste because it's finished in Napa Valley wine barrels, used Napa Valley wine barrels. It's distilled in Kentucky, and then they finish it and age it in the Napa Valley wine barrels. So it's like it says on the bottle, born in Kentucky, raised in California.
You went to, you were at Stanford, and so you studied like the high level shit at Stanford?
I tried. I came in as a math major, and I discovered very quickly that the dynamic changes when you're around a bunch of people who got into Stanford, and I was no longer the best at math near me. I was around the bottom. But before going to that, I'll just say you greeted me. I'm honored to be here. I got to meet you through mutual friends last year.
You've been on the show.
Yeah.
Brian Riley and Austin Kurtz.
Yeah, those are great guys.
Those are your friends?
Those are our friends. Guys.
He started with them as the guinea pigs to build this technology for AI, and it's pretty freaking awesome. Finch Legal.
Brian and Austin are really, I've become better friends with them in the last year. I really like them a lot. Those are good guys.
But they're disruptors, and they're using stuff that Viraj is building to like go to the next level.
They're exceptional. And so I'll finish my thank you, and then I'll get to them. But I had seen your talk at Cala. They had like previewed You Gotta See Bob, and then you helped sneak us into sponsors to Mardi Gras at the last minute, and we had an excellent time there. So I'm just in awe of the community you both have been able to build here. And we've had great members and success kind of talking to folks at JHQ. So honored to be.
They're a partner vendor of Just HQ now, so we'll get into more.
Cheers.
I've never had this one.
Sounds very good.
This is higher proof. It's got to be over 50, right?
There was a little bit of water in here, so that was gentle. That was a great start.
He warms you up, makes you a little gentle.
I appreciate it.
Little whiskey and water.
This is good.
I'll say this about Austin and Brian. They are exceptional people. They have been crazy helpful for us growing and scaling. They are a little bit, they don't fully appreciate how far New York is from Phoenix. And so I'll get a text yesterday that says, hey, we're hosting a March Madness event on Thursday. You should come by. And I did, so I'll be there.
Really?
Yeah, I love those guys.
We did, before they went on their own, we did a March Madness one that was highly well received in downtown Phoenix. And it was awesome. Like those
115.
Guys, yeah, it was over 50% for sure.
115, but it's really hard to read, man. Thank God my eyes are good. That's almost impossible label to read, because it's in like gray lettering on black. It's like almost invisible.
But just great dudes. But for us, Scottsdale, Phoenix is a 45-minute flight.
Way easier, yeah.
They were 4.5 hours from New York.
Well,
probably
meeting them was coincidental. It was actually when we were fundraising for the first time. Really smart venture capitalists will try to gauge whether you have product market fit for what you're selling before they invest. And one of those smart VCs basically contracted Austin to hop on a call and have me pitch him, so they could see how well do I pitch and is there real fit for this thing. And Austin and I had such a good conversation for an hour that we weren't done at the end of the hour. And I lied. I don't know if he knows this, but I lied and said, I'm actually going to be in Phoenix next week. Can I swing by? And he said, sure. And so then I came by and watched their practice and how they worked for a day, and we've been working together since. So Thankful to those guys.
And so I met Austin when he literally just slid into my DMs when he was an associate at a firm, and we've been friends ever since. No, but like there's a lot of startup investors in the Phoenix area. There's a lot in Scottsdale, right? I mean, I know you were at DoorDash for a long time. I believe one of the founders is now permanently in Scottsdale. But yet, so you went through startup journey, and I want to talk from the very beginning because, I mean, you went through Singapore, and I love Singapore. Have you ever been to Singapore?
No.
Wow, I've actually been somewhere in the world that he's not been. But
Kudos.
great cocktails in Singapore.
Excellent cocktail. I think 2 of the top 20 bars in the world are in Singapore.
Really?
Something like that. But I grew up a little bit everywhere. When I'm trying to lead with...
This is like this, born here, raised
here, yeah.
everywhere. Yep.
So if I'm trying to be relatable to someone, I talk about how I grew up formative years in New Jersey. But if I'm trying to seem exotic and enticing, I talk about Singapore. And so I was born in Singapore, moved around a lot because of my dad through the Philippines, Boston, New York, New Jersey, and Singapore ultimately. So I finished high school in Singapore.
Wow.
And then ended up coming out to the States again for college.
What's Singapore high school like?
I will say, for any Singaporeans who are part of your podcast audience, I will not give an authentic description of what it's like. I went to the American school there. I went to the British school for a while and the American school. What I'll say about it that was fun, you've been to the city. It has incredible infrastructure. So like pretty much you can metro or subway anywhere. They have like a system called the MRT.
What's the name of the city?
Singapore.
Isn't the
Country and
Singapore?
cities.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
the
the
City,
same.
state, island.
Oh, it's
all in
everything
one.
Singapore.
Yeah. And so being in high school, like great city to go explore in. The drink age was 18. That was great. Fun city to grow up in. So I had a blast there.
Yeah,
And very safe, right?
Incredibly
very
safe.
clean. You can 3 a.m. walk down the street, have no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever. Very humid though. I don't do well with humidity, but
That was a struggle.
Like I was in Cuba one time. Same thing.
you can't talk about that now. It's actually outlawed.
The time I went to Cuba, you could walk down the street in Cuba 3 a.m. with like $100 bills falling out of your pocket and no one will mess with you because my tour guide said, in Cuba, if they catch someone stealing, Castro cuts their hands off. So nobody steals shit. So it was a different type of regime over there in Cuba. So they don't steal. No one will fuck with you because it's like martial law.
But one thing I like about Singapore is they invest a lot into the civil public system.
Yeah.
So in America, you make more in the private sector. When I learned in Singapore, we have friends that lived there for a long time, is they'll recruit like the best of the best engineers, architects, and they actually go work. I mean, I've never had this conversation with a Singaporean, just my friends that went there, but they have them work for the city, state, right,
Yeah.
to be Singapore. So the best of the best are working for like Singapore, not for Boeing, right?
I mean, it's a country that, and I'm going to butcher the history a little, but has conventionally for a lot of history had its value internationally as a port city. And it was trade was what drove it. And as trade started to happen more via air than it did via sea, they had like this make or break adaptability moment. And I think to their credit, they've recognized bringing in exceptional talent that's going to build the new generation. But it's a country that historically was a port city, and that was its role internationally. And so it made most of its economy was driven by international trade. And as a lot of that trade shifted via air instead of by sea, it was a country that had this make or break moment of adapting and recognized the value of bringing in exceptional talent, especially international talent. I think something close to 25% of the folks who live in Singapore are expats who've come in
Really?
with
It's
some
it's a very expensive city too.
very expensive city.
Yeah. But I was like, because they have a lot of high rises there, the way that it's built. And you can actually look out and you can see all the barges out there that are coming in for, but they have a lot of the best bars, cocktail lounges, rooftop bars, and my favorite gin bar I've ever been to in the world. I don't know how to explain. We were on like turning the corner, walking street level, most high rises, and we just walked into this gin bar that had like, you can create your own cocktail from like fresh blueberry, like creating your own gin cocktail.
Wow.
And it was unbelievable.
Bob, do you remember that gin and tonic bar we went to in Spain one time in Sitges that was like such a dump that my wife went in the bathroom and like almost threw up because it smelled so bad?
I don't think I remember
You
this.
remember that
That means you had a
place?
good night at
It was
this
like
bar.
the Captain Cook's bar or something. It was like an old,
Yes.
at the very end of the.
Well, that was like our 20th gin and tonic that night. I do remember that.
So this is a better gin and tonic bar, I hope,
Much
than
better.
the one that we went to in Spain. It
Much
was just
better.
horrible.
But some things you don't know about Viraj is Well, there's only two of us at this table that have been on a game show and won.
You've been on a game show? I didn't know this. You got
this?
to share first.
Well, have you been on a game show?
No.
So it's the two of us.
I tried to get on Jeopardy a couple times, but it didn't work.
Oh, I heard.
How far did you get in the audition process?
I passed the test.
Oh, yeah.
But then they never called me.
He wasn't marketable. He probably mumbled too much and fell asleep during a part of it. But
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't have been more fascinating than these nerds that they have.
He actually they did it like a at the end when you have to answer the question. And he just wrote your mom.
Your mama.
I can't believe they didn't want that on.
Your mama.
I actually have fantasies about playing Jeopardy and like dominating till you get the final and at the end and you just put your mom. I don't care.
If you're
risk it all. Just write
you're
your mom.
so far ahead that nobody can win.
No, it doesn't.
So you just bet zero.
No, intentionally lose. Bet it all and just your mom. Because our Jeopardy, you're winning like 10, 20 grand an episode, maybe. Not even worth it. But he was on a music one, which this guy knows more about music than
I'm
anybody.
really good at it. You see my room here with all
have.
my music posters. I've been to thousands of live shows.
So what's interesting about Viraj's story is you have this startup journey from Stanford, DoorDash, and then there's a sabbatical year.
Yeah.
And if you look on LinkedIn, he doesn't say why there's a sabbatical year. So I want to find out because I saw you were on a game show and I screenshot the photo. I'm going to send it to our producer because it's going to be in this episode. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's about music. It's like that app. What's it called?
Shazam.
I want to know.
Was that the show that Jamie Foxx hosted?
It was.
I used to watch that.
Well, maybe you saw him.
You are a music fan.
And I was really good at that show too. I used to crush on Can You Beat Shazam?
You got to watch our episode and see if you do better than us. See if you can get it faster than we do.
I used to love that show. Jamie Foxx was the host.
Okay, so we're going to set the stage.
Yeah.
We're going to set the table because he was also a bartender during this time, which I think the best trial lawyers are bartenders. You can carry a conversation.
Yeah.
I want you to set the stage to make a cocktail and tell us the story of how you were on that show and why you're on a sabbatical. You ready?
Let's do it.
So I don't know this one, but I did a little research and saw you were on that game show. And it was New York is where you filmed this one, right?
Dublin, Ireland is where they filmed
They filmed
this
it
game
there.
show. So we flew out to, interviewed and auditioned in LA and in San Francisco, and then we were flown to Ireland because Fox decided to film there.
So you were working somewhere at this point when you got recruited for the show?
No. So my wife had actually applied on my bet. She knew I watched the show religiously like you did. I love guessing songs. It's been like the drinking game that we used to play in college was like guess the song that's playing, and then if you get
Remember
it right,
that
you
show,
start to
Name
drink.
Your Tune, back in like the 60s? I was like, how are people getting this? Like, I could do it in one tune. Like, how? Like,
Yeah.
In one note. My mom used to love Name That Tune.
Yeah.
2 notes on the piano and she would name the song.
So how does this go down, man?
So my wife had applied on our behalf 3 years ago, and we didn't hear back. We did one audition, which we accidentally took from a bathroom at DoorDash because I was trying to do 2 things at once: was to work at DoorDash and audition for the show.
And what were you doing for DoorDash at this time?
I was a product manager, so I started.
That's a big role.
It was a fun role. I started as a designer, and then I switched 3 years in to being there. To being a product manager.
So if you look at the interface of DoorDash now, Viraj is the one that's responsible for it. So product manager, they literally will tell the engineers what to build, how to make it look good, interface, etc. That's a big role there, man.
It was a fun role. I'll tell you what what was in my DNA, even though I was at DoorDash for 8 years, which when I joined was 50 people in Palo Alto, only delivering in Palo Alto and San Francisco. There was 10 plus other food delivery apps, and unclear if there was any
So I listened to How I Built This.
Oh yeah.
And they did a whole episode with one of the founders. That's how I know this
That's how you
little
know
story.
that. Yeah.
They're literally sending out flyers and stuff to get on DoorDash.
It was an
I saw the
operational
Airbnb
business.
episode of that. Did you ever see the Airbnb one? You know why they call it Airbnb? Because the guy who started Airbnb rented out his living room with an air mattress in it online for like $10 a night. So that's why it's called Airbnb, because he used to rent out a fucking air mattress.
I mean, Mauro rents out an air mattress for $10 an hour.
Yes, it's called Airbnb hot sheets.
Yeah. I mean, you're putting a lot of stuff into this, man.
There is. So I'll cover this.
Am I getting roofied?
I'll say this. You'll just have a great evening, afternoon after this.
I don't want to get roofied unless I want to be roofied.
Fair enough. Well, are you a mezcal fan? I feel like you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Well, truth be told, I'm not a big mezcal fan. I'm going to say now 6 or 7 years ago, a good friend of mine, Spencer Lucas, who's a partner at the Panish Shea Ravaputi law firm.
Yeah.
So big firm.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. We were in San Francisco for the COC conference.
Oh, I
And he
didn't know
says, Mauro, I'm going to take you to the Mission District. We're going to go to this mezcal bar in the Mission District. And we went at like 3 p.m. Long story short, I woke up in the fucking bushes out in front of a nightclub in San Francisco at like 4 a.m. I don't know what happened, but like the wolf came out, you know? Like, I must have had 30 shots of mezcal. I was an Aztec warrior that night. Out of my fucking mind.
He still has he had a chest tattoo that night that he woke up with.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take care of you tonight.
If you want to see this?
Show it off.
I'll show it to you.
That's pretty cool. That is not actually from that night.
Not from that.
Oh, okay, still cool. And I'll segue to talking about the bartending, but I'll say that the had a great experience at DoorDash. Incredible experience to be part of, going from like a virtually 0 or like 1 by the time I joined to what ended up being what it is today. Which I assume, are you all DoorDash customers?
I use DoorDash
no.
every day.
I use Postmates.
That's okay. We'll
I've
get
always
you.
been a Postmates.
I never knew
Uber owns
Postmates or DoorDash. I didn't know this existed until we were I forgot the story. We were in a mediation. And
I called him.
He called Postmates. So there was a bunch of injured folks in this crash, and it just so happened a bunch of us and our friends represented all the plaintiffs. So like for this mediation, we're all in one room together, and like all of our friends and all these like stuffy defense lawyers in these other rooms, they're fighting us. We're hanging out. Mauro calls Postmates when I first realized Postmates, and it delivered alcohol. He's like, wait for this, because this is pretty, I forgot we did this.
Yeah, I Postmated a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
And some tonic and some ice, and they brought it right to us, and they're like, wow, that's incredible.
At our friend's conference room, Kribis, who recently passed away, one of the best mediators ever, but we sat in that room, we were just drinking bourbon while these guys were fighting on the other side. It was just our friends, and like, they didn't.
Well, in that case, the fix was in because we represented like every party in this case, and they had nowhere to run, and we all collected.
But Postmates, and I use DoorDash, I think, almost every single day.
Well, I worked on core DoorDash for a long time, but my last stint as a product manager, so when this also simultaneous interviewing for Beat Shazam happened, I was working on these newer 0 to 1 verticals on top of core restaurants. So things like alcohol delivery was the thing I worked on.
Drizzly?
We like that.
Drizzly doesn't exist
Drizzly
anymore.
got acquired by Uber. At the same time, we were much smaller, and we started investing deeply in building the right product for like compliance to make sure we're delivering to the right people, selection to make sure every liquor store and grocery store is on, and then eventually the consumer experience, and that has led to us taking over the market share for alcohol delivery as a result.
It's still in existence. What's it
Still
called?
in existence. That was alcohol with DoorDash. So all this is within the DoorDash app. You can get convenience items delivered, pharmacy, prescriptions.
I think David's old company, our buddy David Danishkar, who runs a Whippy AI, and have you ever heard of it?
No.
He had a company called Bloom Nation, and they did flowers, and they also did like liquor, and they did pizza delivery on Bloom Nation.
No, but with DoorDash, I order a lot of food for our kids, and then we get like I get alcohol too, but stuff I can't find somewhere. It's like I like barrel aged gin, or like a barrel. Sometimes I will like a barrel aged like beer that you can't find anywhere. So but whenever I check out now, it knows me so well. So I'll like order pizza for the kids. Like, by the way, do you want this favorite whiskey that you like? I'm like, God damn it, I do.
I won't take full credit, but that worked, and that was a good
Man, my livertologist is going to send you an invite.
I'll take it. I'll respond.
So as an early employee there, did you get like stocks, or did you make any money with DoorDash?
I don't know if you could talk about that. Can you talk about
Sure
that?
you can.
I can talk about it. I won't. I'll say that like it was formative in a bunch of ways. It was a really like we did have stock in the company. I think early on it created this mindset that everyone was there was this value we had of one team, one fight. That I think is especially true when everyone feels like an owner in the business. And it led to this collaborative culture that I haven't yet to see since DoorDash, of everyone is 100% in on making the outcome true. I'll give you an example. There was a partnership we did with Cheesecake Factory, one of our older partners ever at DoorDash, where we did a free
Nightmare of a menu. Too many
Nightmare
options.
of a menu.
Too
I
many
love
options.
that,
best
but
fucking
Americans
menu.
love that. I love that.
Hate that.
I love a menu with infinite options.
Give me 6 options. That's it. I don't need more.
You're a Chipotle guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Build it.
But people love options. So it kills. And we did a free cheesecake slice promotion across the country, which led to, and you can look up these articles, kind of like mass hysteria of people ordering infinite amounts of cheesecake and Dashers queuing up, and there was some violence that broke out. It was a rough experience, but all of us who were coding and designing in HQ that day went to the local Cheesecake Factory in San Francisco, because there was 4 lanes of road and 3 were taken up by parked Dashers jumping in, and there was a long line, and that Cheesecake Factory was backed up. And we jumped up there and were assisting with like routing the orders to the right place. We helped with like substitutions when they were out of a
All
certain
for a
cheesecake.
free slice of cheesecake if you ordered something from there.
And for us, mainly so we just didn't disappoint the people trying us for the first time because they heard about that offer. And so my job that day was I went and made sure nobody got tickets. So the SFPD was there trying to give out tickets to all those Dashers queuing up, and my job was try to sweet talk them out of it. So I spent my whole afternoon doing that, moderately successfully.
I have a question.
Ask away.
What percentage of like DoorDash drivers will actually steal the order and eat it?
I
You know?
I have yet to see it. I've heard. Here's what I'll say.
Do you have an application in? Is this why?
No. No, but there is one app here in LA that like it's for like high-end restaurants.
Yeah.
Like it's not like DoorDash. I don't know what it's called, but it's like if you want to order food from like Fleming's or Mastro's or whatever.
It's not Caviar, is it?
Yeah, Caviar, exactly.
DoorDash owns Caviar, so it's all DoorDash.
So I've heard that Caviar has a lot of drivers that sign up and will like go pick up an order from Mastro's and then just like disconnect their fucking app and go steal the food.
I haven't seen it in practice as much. I'm sure it does exist, but I will say that like most often when someone complains about a missed fry, it's just because they got served a smaller portion of fries.
It's not the driver eating it.
But they're
Usually
pretty
not, but-
responsive. So when a DoorDash, when it happens, I'll be like, hey, you delivered to the wrong place,
Yeah.
and they take care of it.
It's
But
had excellent customer
that's,
service.
and you could track them. I could see where the driver is. Sometimes I'll
Yeah.
be like, hey, bro, you're like taken to, I could see where you are.
Yeah.
But they seal them. Like with stuff that I buy, they put a seal on them. So when
Yeah.
they deliver to you, you know that it's not been opened. He still remembers that Domino's story that everybody heard about, that wives' tale when we were kids.
Yeah.
They would put their snots in your pizza.
Well, worse, but that was the one that I heard.
That was the PG version. That sounds good. Yeah.
I actually, when I was in college, my roommate was a Pizza Hut delivery guy. And he would get the same people ordering over and over. So he knew people didn't tip. And the people who didn't tip, he said he would take his socks and shoes off and put his feet in the pizza on the way to their house. And then he would deliver it to them because he knew they weren't tippers. So he'd put his feet in it.
I feel like there's a better way to do it.
While driving over.
Probably a better way to
Yeah,
communicate that.
you don't want to put like, I mean, why would you put like sauce on your feet?
Yeah, that's you're right. It hurts both.
He didn't mind. He would put his feet in it and his dirty, scroungy feet.
Well, I'm ready for another drink. So
Yeah.
because this is great.
So I'll skip the story. We'll come back to the game show. I'll say that sabbatical for me was let me take a breather after DoorDash and figure out what I want to do next. I had this itch, but I was itched in 15 different directions. And when I
I've
was
got an itch too.
and when I was at DoorDash, it was hard to explore that itch. So I took the time to do it. So I got married during that time, was on this game show we'll talk about, and I briefly had this career as a bartender. So for 4 months in New York was mixing drinks. And it was an art of going from, I'd done the role of DoorDash long enough that I had gotten pretty good at it. And each day felt somewhat safe, and going to something which I was bad at. And where I had to like learn very quickly, otherwise I would get fired.
Well, how did you even get a job as a bartender? Isn't it hard to get a bartender job?
I started as a barback. So I started by just
That's a hard job, man.
Bob is a bareback.
I'll say the barback felt like, as I've approached this industry, a lot like the paralegals and K-staff being the unsung heroes of the office. This was it wouldn't have functioned without me coming in and cutting limes before the bartender shows up. So I was thankful to have that job. It gave me more appreciation for it when I became a bartender. And that's where I learned to make this drink. So I've continued that even as I do Finch, where once a month I have friends over and I make them cocktails. So we host this like cocktail night out of my apartment.
Can me and Brian and Austin come over?
Please come to New York every other Thursday. It's called fortnightly, so every other week. And this drink is called the Naked and Famous.
Uh-oh.
I'll let you make a joke off that. Well,
We know it's too low-hanging fruit
I
for
know.
this
Too
guy.
easy. That one's too easy.
but a Naked and Famous, for those making it at home, is equal parts mezcal,
Where's the mezcal that we're using? Right here?
Montelobos? That's a good one.
Aperol,
There we go.
lime juice, no label, and usually yellow chartreuse. Yellow chartreuse has been in shortage recently because the Benedictine monks who own the recipe have limited the supply so they can pray more. And so as a result, all the bottles are $100 and I couldn't find one. So
Smart.
we were using Strega.
What is Strega?
What
Strega
is yellow
is a-
chartreuse? I've never heard of this before.
Is it similar to yellow chartreuse?
It is similar to yellow chartreuse.
But what,
It has the same taste profile.
I'm gonna make this for my wife. She loves mezcal. We have a lot of mezcal at our house, so
What's your go-to mezcal?
Dos Hombres we use at the home a lot. But I'm usually like I could do one mixed cocktail night. Otherwise, it's just straight alcohol for me because I don't like hangovers. And
This is
Sure.
great. Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be good.
Cheers.
Naked and Famous, huh?
Naked and Famous.
Well, that's pretty good. Oh, wow,
Fantastic.
you can really taste the mezcal. Huh?
Holy shit, that's good.
It cuts it just enough. It's just sweet enough that it takes the edge off.
This is
Delicious.
good. But it's bitter at the end, which I like. So it's very...
That is a good drink. I got it. Straka? Sepp Straka. This is Sepp Straka? Okay.
Yeah, but if you can get the yellow chartreuse, that's the real thing. This is a pretty close second.
Well, she's been using a lot of like different bitters with the mezcal. She has a nice plum bitter that she's been doing mezcal with a little bit of like, I don't think it's an Aperol, but then with the bitters, and it's fantastic. A little bit of club soda. Oh.
Well, bust this out for her before it airs, and you'll
If
see.
if I fed my wife drinks with mezcal, there will be bloodshed and possibly a fire.
Well, he will end up naked and famous, just not...
I'll be naked
Debound.
That's the dream.
naked and debound because my wife can't drink tequila or mezcal because it gets wild. I run for my life.
This is true. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
We vacation. We stay in the same house together with the family, so I've seen this go down many times. Man, this is really good. But how did you like? How can you step away from being like this super? I mean, being DoorDash has to be so dialed in.
Yeah.
You're coding. You're doing these things.
Yeah.
And like a PM, you're the guy that everybody has to get guidance from, right?
Yeah.
And fucking being a bartender.
There's something really nice about it. I think when I've a year and a half is like a lot to like learn about yourself, and I think my biggest learning was the parts of my career I've enjoyed the most are when I'm like building something brand new, and that is because I'm learning in a space that I'm not an expert at. That
brings us to your Finch.
We'll segue there, but I'll say that like for me, bartending was that. The game show was that. I was decent at it, but doing a brand new experience from the ground up. And when I was at DoorDash, I was plugged in enough that I didn't really touch hobbies and new things.
You know, I go to a lot of conferences, especially because me and Bob go around to these conferences all over the country. I don't really remember seeing Finch at too many of these.
First one was Lauderdale because they just started.
Yeah, I don't remember. I always see the same usual suspects at all these conferences. I don't remember Finch.
You're inviting us on at a fun time where we haven't really talked about ourselves. We've been in a principle at DoorDash that I found really effective was to crawl, walk, run. And I think you have seen a bunch of tech companies kind of sprout out over the last little bit, particularly this market, into a lot of lawyers. We want to make sure we build something that was lasting and useful before we did that. I think one of your biggest risks as a company is you chase growth and then you have a leaky bucket because you didn't build the right thing and then you have to reset.
And once people test drive it, we talk about this, it's like this doesn't work at all. Like,
yes.
We built something and promised.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Most of these legal techs that come across, they don't work.
I'll say this in their favor. Like I love how much investment is going into this space because I think that as I've met more and more firms over the last year, every firm is different and there's a lot of hard problems to be solved. And I think the way you get those problems solved well is by having a lot of folks try. And I am energized at the amount of players there are in this space. I do think that because every case is different and every firm is different, you're not going to end up on like one size fits all solution. And so I'm excited.
But you can have commonalities. And here's like being in a similar vertical. The younger generation gets it. And it's a lot of the antiquated firms just say no because they don't understand it. So like an example. So recently, like I've been talking to groups that are very well respected groups of trial lawyer organizations. And I'm like, okay, guys, wouldn't it be great for you guys to automatically get looks at cases because you're really good at what you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that seems nice. I'm like, okay, so all you have to do is like, I'll help you set this up and people can automatically send you cases for you to have right of first refusal and you'll have your own like private group. They're like, why would we do that? I'm like, what do you mean, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's 100% free. And aren't you sick of like people that don't deserve the cases to get them because you're the best at what you do? They're like, well, yeah, but we don't like this. They have no reason why they don't. It's just because it's just not the way that it has been done, so I don't understand it.
I think here's what I'll say. I've seen, anytime I've used the word automation, I think there's a little bit of fear around that word. And I think it's for good reason. I think that at its core, what most of these tools we just alluded to are trying to do, most of them. And I think there's some that are more generating like revenue and leads, but most of them are in let me take parts of your workflow and automate it. So I think at its crux, most of these tools are bringing some automation to this legal workflow that folks are doing. And there's a promise in that of, hey, maybe I'll be able to compete at a bigger scale if I'm able to automate enough of that. But what I've learned through this process and where we've kind of shifted over the course of our beta group in the last few months is I've realized that this is a deeply human practice. You are all of consumer facing law, but especially personal injury, you are helping people through their toughest moments in life. And that the idea of stripping out the humanity from it doesn't resonate with attorneys, doesn't resonate with clients, and isn't the Finch principle either. And so where Finch's thesis is, and what most of our attorneys have said to us, is we view you more as a partner than a tool. I got, and I'll explain how, but I got coffee with David Gamble this morning, who's a Justice HQ member.
Yeah, I love David. You know David Gamble, big beer, big civil rights. Dude, he's crushing massive verdicts.
Yeah. He runs Gamma Law. He's been going great. And I asked him just like, read me back what you think of us. And he said, I actually don't think of you guys as a tech company. I think of you guys as a pre-lit company.
So what does Finch do?
So I'll say so Finch at its core, when I say it's a partner, is we have excellent, experienced paralegals who've been doing this job for 10 plus years. They are bilingual, US based, and people you would trust to do the job, paired with the technology that brings them to a like very accessible level to most attorneys.
It's a platform for the support.
Yeah, it's
nobody built that product. Everybody builds it for lawyers. They don't build it for the support staff to be able to do.
Well, I'll say where for me this is DoorDash was there was a version of a food delivery app if you were building it in 2012 that you would have just built a website that is like, here's the restaurants that deliver, go and order from them.
Here's their menu.
Yeah.
Call the number. And they had a lot of those places that did well. Yeah.
And I think what DoorDash was an opinion on, hey, the value is in doing the work. It's not on just connecting the two people. Like most restaurants don't have food delivery people. They don't because I'm not getting enough delivery orders during the day to support it.
Like the first one I remember way before DoorDash was called Grubhub.
Well, Grubhub was a listing platform. It existed and was doing well off of just like...
Yeah, that was the one that was around
They had
years
and stuff, but
years
didn't
before.
they go way under?
Are they still around, Grubhub?
They're still around, and they've since kind of integrated with other like delivery fulfillment providers, but there's became this like, the reason Mendocino Farms delivers, the reason like most of these restaurants, Chipotle now delivers, is they weren't doing it prior because it didn't make sense to staff a person. And DoorDash said yes to the hard work of we will go figure out how to do this really well. We'll take the accountability if it doesn't.
Yeah, the one thing that DoorDash does
Yeah.
very well, and I think different from rideshare apps, is they're not taking a cut of the service. They're just doing like a fee to use the platform, whereas Uber is taking X percentage from the drivers on the fare. So in that sense, you're becoming a partner. DoorDash is doing something a little bit different, just being a service. By the way, in the recent verdict for $50 million by Raleigh, I think it was a DoorDash driver that was picking up Starbucks. Did you see this one?
I did see that one, yeah.
And they didn't put the lid on it and just
12
penal graphs later.
Really tough case.
Yeah.
But I drew that comparison not to overly talk about DoorDash, but where I think that there's for a lot of firms that are a little reticent of like, what is the tooling to use? Because there's so many tools out there. Good.
No, whenever you're building, so I think the problem people build software for, and they build it for lawyers, don't recognize that lawyers aren't the one that are actually using it. It's our support staff, our case managers are the ones that are day to day, that are the ones using it and maybe reporting back to lawyers. So if you build a product for them, by them, that's how you win the space. But nobody's seen that. They fall back into it. Oh my God, why aren't lawyers signing in? Because I was like, because they're not the ones that are doing the work.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of got two models here, which is for a lot of solo and small attorneys, and maybe I'll talk about Ryan Hecht as an example. He was our first customer on Finch. He started his own law firm a year and a half ago out of Austin. He's an excellent litigator, and he is very charismatic. So he's a great people person. So what that meant is within 30 days, he had 50 cases come in. And he got those from referrals of senior attorneys in town. But then he was at his, okay, but now I need to work these cases. And so where he was spending his time was not drumming up more cases and not going and litigating, which he's excellent at, but he was on the phone with insurance and he was requesting medical records and he was requesting police and doing all of the like pre-litigation work because he hadn't yet settled them enough to afford more help, and he and none of them had yet reached litigation, so he was kind of in this holding pattern. So Finch was started to be built for folks like him, which is how do we give you support in a way that you can afford and grow and lets you say yes to as many cases and lets you go spend your time with clients and litigating rather than dealing with the tedium or busy work. Where it's also been used, and you're kind of alluding to this, is there's a lot of firms where you have that one case manager or paralegal that you trust with your life. This person who's like, they are the reason the lights are on, and we are leverage for them. We are like the back office for them that will do a lot of that work so that they can focus on making sure the flow of cases is accurate. They can take on more cases, or he or she can coordinate with clients and ensure treatments.
I like that back office support because you always have an adoption problem with anything that you build because people get antiquated in their ways. How long did it take for lawyers to get off fucking word perfect? Word perfect.
Yeah.
But now we're in a space, like same thing, like we have to, what I found to get our lawyers and staff to adopt it, I ask them, what are some things that you want to solve? Like, and get them in the conversation of how can we make this work for you, right? Rather than dictating how they're going to use it as a workflow.
I love that.
And then I like technologists early, like Finch, where I can actually go to you or your team and say, I'm going to put you in touch with my head paralegal.
Yeah.
Can you guys have a conversation to figure out how we're going to make this work?
Well, that's the dream of us having a person in the loop to make this work, and someone who's trusted and done this a long time, is we're not coming in with a prescribed playbook.
I love it.
We're jumping in with the person who knows the most and writing that playbook together. We will then handle intake calls where we learn everything about a case, and from there, I think, like, to the earlier point on, there's a lot of tools that handle automation. The risk of that, I think you need to be really thoughtful as a law firm owner of where you're deploying that automation. I think when you're not thoughtful is where you have those instances of AI-generated cases or in court filings, et cetera. So I think
They call that hallucinations.
they call that hallucinations. And
I can't believe these AIs hallucinate.
Well, it does. I mean, it depends on what it's built on, but like,
I mean, I eat mushrooms, I hallucinate.
it's a lot like that. Think of it, it's ChatGPT on mushrooms.
And I've eaten a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah.
by the way, this hat you're wearing is on its last fucking thread.
I got a big fucking head. What do you want from me? You trying to shame
my head
me?
is so small compared. I mean, I
You
have a
trying
small
to
head.
embarrass me? I'm on the. Have you ever seen a guy with it's on the last button?
I've never seen this before.
Well, I got a big head. Fuck off.
I mean, it looks good. I
You
just
know,
have never
Bob,
seen it on
you're
the last.
shaming me. Your body, you are what they call your body shaming me. You're fat shaming me. I mean,
tough
this
episode
is
tomorrow.
truly. I mean, you pride yourself in this all inclusive. You know,
I was just making an observation. I've never seen it.
Gavin Newsom, fucking liberal. a Gavin Newsom socialist, and yet you're fat shaming me. So you're more Trump than you let on. You're a fucking Trumper.
I just think the hat was not made well.
See.
So they actually make, like Melon. I'm a huge fan of Melon. They actually make hats that fit everybody. And
Bob, you're not the Democrat you claim to be.
There's something about this mezcal drain that leaves
You are
everyone unvarnished naked.
You are a fucking Republican.
here we go. I like the mezcal in Mauro.
You're a Republican in fucking sheep's clothing.
I actually had a mezcal tasting with him when in Cabo. We went to this place called The Office. This is gonna
Listen, this is the best story ever. One time
excited.
we were at this place called The Office in Cabo.
It's called The Office, but
This fucking place, they don't take Amex, you know? I mean, I don't know why they don't. I use my Amex all over the world. Luckily, that day I was there, God bless his soul, Arsh Hamanpour was fucking at the bar with me.
it's this huge, like,
Huge
it's
place.
on the beach in Cabo.
I
and it's,
invited
your
like
feet are in the
50
sand.
people to come party at the office.
Yeah.
People are drinking bottles of fucking Clase Azul like they're drinking water, fucking lobster tails, everything.
The premise being you're covering.
Yeah, I'm paying the tab. Listen, Bob will tell you. There's nobody faster to pay a tab than me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'll pay. No
Yeah.
problem. I don't give a shit what it is. I pay.
Yeah.
My dad taught me, you pay the fucking tab.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about someone else. You fucking pay. So I don't have a problem. I have this party. The fucking bill comes. It's like $19,000 in Cabo. $19,000.
Like in a beach restaurant on like the
At like some
sand.
shitty beach bar in Cabo was like 19 grand. But these fuckers are eating lobster tails, Clase Azul, fucking whatever. And I give him my Amex. We don't take Amex. And Arsh Hamanpour, God bless his soul, one of the best human beings you'll ever met. He's like, I'll take care of the tab. I was like, Arsh, no. I got a visa. I got another one. And, no, I insist. I was like, you insist? Or give the motherfucker the tab. You know, it was like $20,000. And you know what? The Arsh is great. The fucking guy didn't even flinch. He didn't give a fuck. He paid the tab 20 grand.
I was on
Good for him.
social media this morning. He settled like 3 8-figure cases in the past
Yeah, I
week.
mean,
I'm like,
Arsh didn't give two shits. He settles cases for $10 million like penny candy is.
great human. He gives most of it away to charity too.
Yeah.
Or to your
To your
Or
bill.
do a massive fucking bill at the office in Cabo.
But to Mauro's credit, so like we had another where we did a mezcal tasting, and I was like, yeah, this is really good. Like I like mezcal. that night when he had this $20,000 tab, we were at the DoorDash Trial College. We had a dinner later that night, like with our wives and some friends. And Mauro came in, he came in hot because it was like, these fuckers drinking on my tab. I'm never doing it again. 20 grand.
You didn't even front the tab.
And I didn't even pay, and I was offended.
So mad.
I didn't even pay, I was offended. I said, these fucking pigs. These pigs drank up 20 grand and fucking ours paid.
Man.
But I did throw a birthday party for myself one year. You were at the Esperanza, remember?
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Our kids were all there.
Great birthday party I threw in Cabo. Because the DoorDash Trial College is always right around my birthday, so it's actually a good time.
Mauro turns 51 this May.
Exciting.
Hard to believe, right? I mean, all the clean living and everything, you know, I look very youthful.
I agree.
You know?
You do have good skin. I feel like if we were in, what's it? Something of the Lamb, Silence of the Lambs. I feel like he would have a field day with you.
Yeah, you would like it?
Hannibal Lecter would love you.
I don't know. I'm
He'd wear you like
51,
a glove.
but you know what? I'm so immature. And I'm so immature.
How old do you feel?
Oh, like 17. I mean, I just refuse to grow up. I'm fucking the worst. You know, I mean, that's why. I mean, have you seen like people got like I was with you. Where were we? We were in San Diego at some conference. We went to dinner with some guy that Bob knows. Guy showed up at dinner.
I don't know where this is
talking.
going.
I'm excited.
And the guy says, "Oh, the guy said I'm 50 years old or something." And he's like, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 50." This motherfucker looked like my grandpa. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? The guy's same age as me. Like some guys that are 50 are 50, you know? Like they've been dragged by wild fucking horses. You know, I'm 50, but I'm going on 20. You know, I'm a young 50.
Yeah.
I'm ready to. I'm going to Coachella this fucking year with Bob.
Oh, never been in my life. We're going to
Coachella.
This is gonna be very interesting.
Bob's never been. I've been to like 20 Coachellas. You got to eat mushrooms early and get fucking toasted.
God.
They have this thing at Coachella where you go in. They have this like amnesty box, they call it, where like so it says amnesty, where you go in, you can throw your fucking coke, your fucking heroin, whatever you got on you. They let you put it in this box. No problems, no questions asked. They got the amnesty box, and people are walking over there, dropping their fucking drugs in there because they don't realize like going into Coachella, it's like almost like a fucking like strip search,
Right.
Because they know people are there to get wild.
Yeah.
So you can't sneak shit into Coachella.
Yeah.
And if they catch you, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to sneak it in. So they have an amnesty box where you can go get rid of your shit.
Yeah.
I wish there was a hole in the bottom of the fucking thing that I could go next and grab it, but there isn't. So you just got to get fucked up before you get there.
Noted.
And luckily for me, I have a house like a mile from the Coachella Festival.
Yeah.
If you go on Instagram at my house and you put like you want a tag location, it says Coachella Festival.
Yeah.
That's how close my house is to the festival. So we can get all fucked up and we can make it a mile, you know? Or hopefully we can make it a mile. And
I can't wait for this experience.
It's going to be.
I really want to read.
Never been, and he was like, "You want to go to Coachella this year? We're partners with the King's my firm. They're like, they can get us some good tickets. Yeah, you know what? I'll experience it with Mauro and his wife, my wife and his. Would be fun.
Yeah.
But I did not know about the amnesty box.
Yes.
Oh God. Fuck
No,
this.
I want to hear about Finch. So Finch is they're paralegals that help you run your firm.
Yeah.
All
And then,
A to Z. So it uses technology, artificial intelligence to enhance the productivity of your support staff and lawyers to get from intake to resolution. But it's using those touch points not based off of what people think that they need, but off the individual firm's needs. So they probably go in, talk to your firm, figure out how you workflow, what do you do, and then they optimize all of those systems. And it's usually like Sarah in your office, who's your COO, she'd be the one that would be, what are the pain points, build what I need to be able to do, and they automate. Because your pain points,
Finch sounds amazing.
well, I'll give you the example that you might not have. There's going to be stuff you all have seen demand letters created. You've seen like discovery responses. Yeah. I'll give you the examples that we've done that have been exciting to me and exciting to most of the lawyers we work with. Is you or Sarah has been in the experience of you've been on the phone with an insurance agent on hold for 30 minutes, then you talk to someone and eventually you get somewhere. But it could be 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. We're using voice AI agents for most of those. So there will be an AI agent that calls off on behalf of your firm to either like go get claim numbers or to nudge medical record requests along. And this becomes like when we've looked at what paralegals actually do, they're spending most of the time on phone and on emails and faxes. And so we will use that. We'll use, instead of refreshing crash docs to get a traffic collision report, we will use computer agents to go check if it's available and then download it for you. And so there becomes this world where
So you're like agent based to be able to, I like this.
that's what we're doing. But the way you do that well is not by throwing tech out there. It's by watching what great humans do and then building the tools that help them do it.
so that they could do better things rather than sit on the phone and do these mundane tasks.
I'll give you the example of what we get to do now. Our paralegals are mostly following up with clients. They'll spend most of their day now checking in.
They should be talking to clients.
And that means when your demand gets out, it's not just like, here's a regurgitation summary of all it's flooded with the narrative of what this person went through. And they're like, week to week, how are they feeling? And they could or could not throw a ball with their kid. Like there becomes this like overarching narrative that you only get if you get the depth and time to connect with clients.
And Mauro feels very heavy about time. It's the biggest commodity for you, right?
Yeah.
It's time.
Time is the ultimate currency, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I need time to play 18 holes. At least 4 days a week.
Well, you might be someone who is just starting might need, I want to go network and get more cases, or I want to spend more time on litigation and trial.
Those two, you can check no on those.
You're
two.
good, yeah. You would happily go play golf, and we'll keep things running.
Like I always say, I've been practicing law since the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, so at this point, I've kind of slowed down. One of my
Peerless
personal
Rye.
favorites is
Love
this
Peerless
Peerless. This was Bourbon of the Year in what's that bourbon magazine? Bourbon Advocate, I think it's called. Bourbon of the Year in the Bourbon Magazine 23. This actual one, Peerless Rye.
I haven't had this one in a long
excited.
time.
This is.
So now we're going to get
sharing
into game
it.
show territory.
Yeah, let's do it. So, first audition 4 years ago, 4 years ago, out of a bathroom at DoorDash. Didn't go well. The producers saw rows of toilet paper behind us and decided we were not a fit at the moment. So, didn't work out for my wife and I. Oh, cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, this is such a good fucking rye. And Bob's a rye
that's great.
drinker too, and this is a good rye.
Oh, fucking
I love
fantastic.
that. That's great.
So it didn't work
That's
out.
good.
Didn't work out. I still had the dream. And I kept following the casting account for multiple years. And when they posted on Instagram that they were recruiting again for season 6, I applied. They interviewed me and my wife. So we got on, we did this like answers, try to guess some songs playing and try to show off our personality questions.
Yeah.
And what was a brutal response to me, they sent back a day later was,
Oh, no.
we loved you.
Don't want your wife.
We like your wife.
No.
And Lisa, to her credit, was like, thank God. She's like, I never wanted to go on a game show. I'm purely doing this to support you. Please go find someone else energetic enough to go do this with you. And then I interviewed with a few people. And so this was a year and a half ago. My now co-founder, Ben, is the one who ended up fitting
Being
the
on the
bill.
show. Wow.
So that was the start of us working together. We've known each other for 12 years. We met at Stanford.
But what's Ben doing at this time?
He was working at he'd got his master's in AI from Stanford. He worked at Google for 6 years, and then he was 3 years at this other company called Catch, so another like fintech startup. And as soon as he got the call, he was a yes. So he and I went and interviewed for it, and he matched my energy, and he is the most intense person I've ever met. So he was to my optimism, excitement, he was the like focus and drive person, which is a perfect.
Explain the show. I've never seen the show.
So format, there'll be 3 teams of 2. So maybe like say we're each a team. They'll start playing a song, and the first team to buzz in on the correct song wins. They start out with multiple choice. They'll put some names on.
And they start out with some easier songs.
Yes.
And then it starts getting really hard.
It's real hard.
So at the beginning, they might start off with like, moves like Jagger or some bullshit everyone knows. But then they get into some obscure fucking Iron and Wine shit from the 90s.
They're all theoretically songs that were really big at one time.
Ooh.
So what Ben and I did, what mostly Ben did, Ben, in the intense persona he is and being an engineer, a week before they brought us to Ireland, they sequestered us in a hotel, and Ben built an app from scratch.
Oh, God, I love this. The cheat.
Yeah, that emulated the board. So it let us practice on an iPad as if we were actually buzzing into songs, connected it to Spotify,
So fucking smart.
so it would pick similar songs so we could rehearse. And we trained for like multiple days leading up to it. Took it really intensely. And then day of, we go on, and we're feeling really good. You all should watch the episode, so I'm sure I'm
We're
going to
going to
spoil
put
it.
this in this episode. We're going to get the B-roll,
one.
put it in there. And
It's it's on Tubi. That's what it's on right now.
Tubi?
Tubi, the free TV app. So if you want to go watch it, you can watch there.
You don't have Tubi?
I don't know what that is.
Tubi's the best. It's like if you don't have any of the paid
Then at least
like
you have
apps
Tubi.
like Hulu and Amazon and Netflix. Tubi's a free one, just has commercials. So you got on the show, and then what happened?
We got on the show. We prepped. We showed up. there was this one team that was really sweet. They were nuns. They were adorable.
They were nuns.
They were nuns. They weren't excellent.
They weren't the monks that were hiding the chartreuse, the yellow
Bob,
chartreuse.
do you know what kind of meat a priest eats on Fridays?
Oh, God.
None. So the nuns were there. They were fierce.
So the nuns tried their best, were fierce.
I'm stealing that joke. Fuck, it's on air. I can't steal it. Okay.
They got knocked out first. And so it was us against this other team. And it came down to the last question. We were good at some rounds. They were good at some rounds.
Nuns?
No, this other team. This other team was...
Can we see if he can get the answer to this?
Of what?
The last question.
Unless
It's music.
If I'm singing it, I'd have to sing. You'd have to play the song.
we
So
can
you
play
play the
it.
song? I don't know about copyright.
I mean, who cares?
This will be... So I'll say there's multiple rounds
You know
to
how
the
to
show.
do this app. I don't.
I'll give you what the name of the name of this round was without words. So it plays an instrumental part of the song, and you're supposed to try to guess the song from it. This was the last one. It came down to the wire between us and the other team.
It's Crash Test Dummies.
Crazy.
Got it. Nailed it.
All right,
Let
ready?
me see if I can get it.
I'll put the volume up.
Put it by your microphone so we can see if we can get this.
I like to move it. I like to move
That was not the instrumental part of the
I like
song.
to move it. You like to move it. I like to
I know this song.
Yes, you do.
What is it from?
You do know.
Shrek?
Close.
Madagascar.
I knew it.
I'll say it. Damn it. I did butcher that.
I knew it was from a fucking kid's
It was supposed to be
It
the
was good.
instrumental only.
Yeah, I was supposed to. I forgot what part of the song was instrumental, and I thought it was the beginning. So you got the
I got
unfair
close.
hint of the name.
I got close.
But it came down to that.
Wow.
I'll say this: we didn't win. So we came in second place, which is a heartbreak given the amount of effort in building an app and training for it. We made just enough money to cover 75% of the bar tab at the watch party. So we net lost $1,000 or so, but
The glory lives on.
The glory lives on.
evergreen
I've been on
content.
TV. It was great. It was a highlight.
So my game show story, I've actually been on 2 game shows and 1 reality show that I know of. Reality show first was Below Deck. We were the first ones on Mediterranean Below Deck. They recruited my wife.
I was supposed to be on the show with Bob.
So they want to do a part 2, and you guys should be on the show.
Let's go. Let's go part 2.
So
I'll go on part 2.
my wife she was filming in actually Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So we always did Singapore after she wraps. So she was filming in Malaysia, Indonesia. So they go film for 6 weeks. And then I would join at the end. We'd go travel from there. But she was called Fit for Fashion. And she was the celebrity fitness judge. And they would do all this. It's a cool show. And we're still friends with a lot of people. But while she was there, it was the first Below Deck Mediterranean. And they were recruiting her hard. I think it was Bravo or E, whoever did this thing. So I was home, and I'm negotiating the contract. I was like, look, the one thing I want is no disparage clause. They wanted her bad, and they were paying for us to be on the show. I was like, okay, we'll be on the show, but you can't disparage us. Fine.
You didn't have to pay for the cruise?
No.
Oh.
We paid for the tip, which we tipped very heavy, but they flew us out there. This was from Athens. So we had to get to Athens, which is always one stop. So we flew to Switzerland for a few days. My wife had just wrapped the show, so she was literally fucking the best shape of her life, training people, and she wanted to have an escape. So we went to Cala Vegas for 2 nights. She did not come with me. And I came back home. We got on a plane. We went to Switzerland. We spent a few days together and went straight to Athens and did the show. And if you watch the show, it's hilarious. But the best parts were edited out because we had an asparage clause. The one night I challenged the staff, and they make you write down what your non-negotiables are. I'm getting trolled on social media, back on Twitter.
No anal.
No, that was not.
I would
mine.
write down no anal.
That was not actually.
That'd be my only
what?
non-negotiable.
Much to your chagrin, this was not one of my non-deliverables.
Okay, well,
I had one.
if you're asking for my non-negotiables, no anal.
That's a short
Other than
list.
that, I'm up for anything. Let's just get out my main. Okay. So that wasn't one of yours.
I do want you on this ship with me because it takes the heat off of me. So my non-deliverable. So it was opening NFL weekend, and the Steelers were playing the Patriots. I'm a huge Steelers fan.
I
So
was managing the Wapos in the World Series that week.
No, it was that weekend because we went back through Switzerland, and
I had 2 hits in that game too.
we played the same baseball team, and I did not make the championship.
We made a
because I was
championship
on
game, so
the
I
show.
was the manager for the team.
And I was the manager at the time. But he took over the team, and they lost. But
we made so many fucking errors.
it was.
Wouldn't have done that with Bob on the watch, right? Yeah.
But it was. The Guapos, to their credit we're legacy members, but they've won 2 of the last 3 championships. Los Guapos de los Estados Unidos.
That's our team.
So it was it's a very funny mascot name. So I'm in.
I got I have my uniform right here in my dungeon.
We got to
here.
pull that out here.
Let me go get it. Want me to get it?
Go get it.
Yeah, I did see
Let me
that.
go get it.
He also has so if we're still rolling, this is
got
funny.
my
Mauro
uniform
has
in
like a side room back here through his clubhouse that is a mirror, and you open up this mirror door, and he has an arsenal of weapons and food supplies. So anyway, I'll continue the story with. So on this cruise, we're on a yacht in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Wife just comes off this show where she's on a reality show essentially, and she just tells me. My non-deliverable was like getting the Steelers game Thursday night. Steelers Patriot. It's the only thing I cared about. And they ended up turning me into the villain for the whole show. Yes.
So you had no non-disparagement for you, just for her?
No, we had it for everybody, but I didn't care because I could play it.
Okay,
but
yeah.
She told me, she's like, one rule. She's like, you're always mic'd up. She's like, so if like, she's like, don't get really drunk. And she's like, and if you do, just like hit the microphone like this. So one
Smart
night,
lady, yeah.
I couldn't find the jersey, but I found the hat.
look at this. This hat is awesome.
Look at this.
I bet this one fits.
Oh yeah, this flex fit.
Oh, that's great.
Look at that.
See
Oh,
that?
I love that.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at the logo.
Who's got
did a
the
logo.
camera on my hat?
Great.
That's Los Guapos hat right there.
You've always said if you do swag, make
Oh,
it
we
memorable.
make our, so people were trying to
Dom, you
buy
got
our
the
swag,
camera
these
on this
hats.
one?
Yeah.
The Wops.
The Guaps.
So the one night you got in trouble, you were saying.
Steelers, Patriots, our wives went to bed early. My friend Ryan Casey, who was actually on Guapo. He was on Los Guapos.
He was a hell of a player.
Hell of a
too.
player. Lawyer from Panashe Ravapudi, good friend of ours, who also was not on that. He did not make the championship because he was with me in the fucking Mediterranean.
Yeah, he was in the
now it's all
Mediterranean.
making sense.
This does feel more and more
Does-
like you not being there was a big.
There was
driver
more
of the team.
him than me because this guy was a great hitter and he could throw a guy out from
Center
left field.
field. He was
on
amazing.
on a laser to home.
Wow.
But anyway, so we're watching the Steelers game, and we had to create me as the villain. So we had to go to this island, pretend like they never got the game. We had to pretend like they got the game, and the whole drama was like, this was a non-negotiable. You're supposed to get the game. It's like, you know what, fuck it. I told the staff, I was like, I'm gonna drink all night. You motherfuckers don't get the game? Because off camera, I was like, I'm gonna drink all night and be your biggest like thorn in your side, just like laughing. I had 21 gin and tonics. Ryan Casey passed out. We drew. I hope they find the beef footage of this because we drew penises on his face. You know, the deckhand Bobby, Big Bobby. You know, shit's gonna come into this in a second. So we never get the game. We're up all night drinking, me and 2 of the deckhands. They start on a boat. They have to like deploy all of the little shit that's middle of the night. They do that, and it's going off in the Mediterranean. And we wake up Ryan Casey. We're like, Ryan, we're gonna go jump in the Mediterranean. He's like, let's go.
So, but no, there.
Jumps right into the fucking shit.
So the boat
I never
is
told the
letting,
story,
is
but
letting
he's
the
like,
septic shit out.
Yes.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, it quite was. It's
a good
and then
prank.
I go downstairs, like, this is all night.
What kind of? You can't.
I don't think we can air
You
this.
can't have this guy jumping into this shit. Man.
This actually happened. And then
You gotta cut this shit.
this story's for everybody here, but he
Yeah,
had
this guy's
we
swimming
drew
in
dicks on
shit,
his
man.
face.
This guy's a nice guy.
He's one of our best friends.
Come on.
So we go 6 a.m. or so. I go downstairs. My wife's just waking up, and she was like, "You didn't sleep." I'm like, she grabs my mic. She's like, "What the fuck?" So at the end of the episode, this is the last night. So if you watch the end of the episode, we're tipping everybody out. I'm so drunk I can't stand because I was drinking all night and doing this charade. So you can watch. I'm just.
Well, let's go on episode 2.
We'll go on episode like the next one. So my game show I was on.
Yeah.
When I was 10. I was on the pilot for Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego.
Wow.
When I was in Pittsburgh, different story. Then I was on, first year as a lawyer, I got on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Were you?
I won $175,000.
Yeah.
But I should have won $300K, and I probably could have gone all the way. But I'll ask, do you know the last question? Both of you, because you don't know the last question to this one.
No. Ask. You want? Are we buzzing?
So like you, I learned probably 3 days before I did this. I was at a chiropractor's office. Some production lady was there. She's like, "You'd be great. You like game shows?" And me and my twin brother was like, "Yeah, we fucking love game shows.
Yeah.
Of course we do." She's like, "Well, come do a pilot for these shows." We're like, "Okay, we'll do it." We both do it. He ends up getting Trivial Pursuit, and he's on the Brady special where the Brady Bunch came in and he swept it all. They almost didn't air it because it was so unfair. He's like a savant. He just dominated them.
Yeah.
And I got Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? So they gave me 3 days notice. My and was a 5th grade teacher at the time. I said, send me all your material. I'm fucking watching documentaries. I'm studying this shit. And
great.
one of the $100,000 question was was about Teddy Roosevelt tangentially, but I had just watched a documentary about him studying. So I nailed that one. It was the hardest question. But this is 175,000 was an easy one. You might get it wrong, but 300K was this. Mind you, the show was taped probably 2006. During the Peloponnesian War in whatever BC, Athens battled what city-state? Now, mind you, if you get this wrong, I'm at 175K, you go to $25,000.
Rome? Rome?
What was it?
Say it.
Sparta.
Sparta is the answer. So 300 had come out.
I thought Rome was my...
So Sparta had come out, the movie 300 had come out later. And I saw, what's the main guy's name?
Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
And we were like at a function together randomly. And I was like, motherfucker, you cost me $300K because you didn't like release the movie early. We had to go laugh about it.
How long was this grudge you held until you met Gerard Butler?
No, it wasn't real grudge. It was just funny. But if you watch the episode, I knew the answer. I kept saying, I was like, I'm just not sure enough. Because I was a poor lawyer, man. Like I was like, couldn't even pay rent, right? And I was like, this is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's hard. If you didn't know it, if you weren't 100%, you got to take the money and run.
But I always wanted, like, you go back in your mind on the show, like what you would have done.
Yeah. I would have studied Outkast. That was a round. There was a dedicated Outkast round. And I studied a lot of Taylor Swift. And I was way off. Studied a lot of Taylor Swift.
We used to do a lot of Outkast when I was in college because they would go, bombs over Baghdad, Bob and his brother Brad. That was my twin brother's name. They'd sing it all the time.
Yeah.
I love Outkast, man. No, I would be like, I'd rather go like, as they say in Sparta, you either come home on your shield or you come home in triumph. Sparta, that's what I should have done. And if you watch the episode, I should have fucking got it right. But
did you mouth it on the episode? Do you get like a little bit of credit?
Oh, dude,
the victor go the spoils.
I talk about it the whole time, and I'm just like,
I'll say that's the best way to lose is you were right
the
anyways.
answer,
Yeah.
But yeah, 175K, put it in my law firm, bought a condo in Brentwood, moved my brothers and sisters out, and
That was the start.
that was the start.
Wow. I didn't know it was that much of your
Insanity.
inception story. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
But the game shows. But I don't know shit about music.
It's okay. We'll go on next year. Try
He
it
knew
again.
he knows his show tunes usually. Not
good.
the
I'm not-
Madagascar. It's just sway. So Viraj, like, what's next for you? Because you're building. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like you do shit that you love to do, and just
Yeah.
you like to disrupt a little bit. From startup, from Stanford on. Where do you want to go?
You're like Sergey Brin of the
Legal tech.
legal tech.
I don't know who Sergey Brin is.
He invented a small company called Google.
Co-founder of Google.
Maybe you heard about it.
He's a little. I'll say I don't have.
I'm more of an Ask Jeeves guy.
You still use Ask Jeeves? You're
No,
the one
of course I
user.
don't.
I would love if you're the one Ask Jeeves user still
Or
plugging away.
DuckDuckGo.
Ah,
I love
consider your privacy.
DuckDuckGo because it's
No, it's a fucking
DuckDuckGo is the best because then you can just hit this little flame button and it erases all cookies and everything. No one ever
What are you
knew.
Googling? What are you searching?
what do you
doesn't
think you
matter, but
search?
I don't want
I
anyone to
understand,
know
yeah.
what I've been on. DuckDuckGo. I'm going to get my phone. DuckDuckGo is the first thing. That way you can be on websites, everything. You just hit.
I'm pretty sure they
erases
know your
everything.
search history.
No, there is no.
pretty sure.
DuckDuckGo is the best. Privacy.
All right, keep believing that.
As for what's next, Finch is the thing. Like I have never been more excited about an idea.
Where'd you get the name Finch?
Alex Finch.
you wanna
it has
guess?
to be.
Well, Finch was the Stifler's mom's name in American Pie.
Wow.
I feel like that's not where they were going.
But
Wasn't
that's one option.
Wasn't she Mrs. Finch? Stifler's
Jennifer
mom?
Coolidge. It was Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah,
I
Stifler's
thought she was
mom.
just Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom.
Stifler's
no,
mom.
wait.
Finch got with Stifler's
banged
mom.
Finch banged
Allegedly.
Stifler's mom.
Allegedly.
Finch was the guy who banged Stifler's mom in American Pie. So that's Finch. To me,
Tragic.
that's always Finch.
That's
Finch,
always. There's nothing
Finch
that
is
could
the
replace
guy
it.
who banged her and then was drinking coffee after and said, "It was just my time."
Any guesses? Do you know?
Atticus Finch has to be the
Atticus
correct
Finch is
answer.
the correct answer.
So wasn't the guy who banged Stifler's mom?
That was a close second. We decided we'd kind of like have a hidden meaning there
Well,
just
I have,
for you,
I have
Mauro.
a kind of a different kind of my mind plays different.
Yeah.
He's thinking keywords. If somebody was looking for a lawyer and also Stifler's mom, where would they go?
Finch is the
Bang
perfect
Jennifer
word.
Coolidge.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the dream. The
She's in White Lotus, I guess, too, right?
she is, yeah.
Because
Last two
my
seasons.
wife watches. I don't watch.
Oh,
White
you need to.
Lotus.
It's so good.
She watches it on her laptop in bed with her headphones on. So
you can't see?
So I watch the Golf Channel, which is the only thing I watch.
This
I'm
is
a
true. He
fucking
actually
nerd.
does watch over.
I watch the Golf Channel 24 hours a day. I'm a degenerate golfer. I don't give a fuck about nothing else.
Yeah.
I watch the Golf Channel, and my wife's sitting there with her headphones, and I see Jennifer Coolidge on the screen all the time.
Yeah.
And then like just random people fucking. So White Lotus
that's
a really good
White Lotus
synopsis,
seems
yeah.
pretty wild. It seems pretty wild.
And at no point are you like, I'll go watch that.
I know. I haven't.
When we start, I'm going to show you the minute and a half soliloquy that Sam Rockwell just did on the
it's
last
so
episode.
good.
You especially would laugh your ass
Yeah.
off. When you see it. No, it's Nick Dagger texted it.
I didn't watch it. I don't watch anything Nick Dagger sends me. He's a communist.
But you have to. This is from White Lotus, and let me tell you, some of the things you will die. I love Sam Rockwell. He's so funny.
He crushed it. I was not expecting him on that episode.
No, I did not. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck's he doing here?
Yeah,
And then it
yeah.
went down this like, oh my god.
I love
So
that
good.
this is going to air when that's older news, but
Yeah.
it's still a big moment now.
Actually, we should put that into like, we should have Mauro parrot what he says. I'm actually going to turn you into an AI and make you say what he says. I'm going to show you what he
What
said.
did he say? Like,
A lot of things that
Shouldn't make it on this.
Was it
Should
about
never.
gratuitous nudity?
oh yeah.
That's involved?
I love it.
It's a good guess.
If you had to pick like a wealthy white guy to go to Thailand and get lost with himself, what do you think he would talk about?
Can't say here on camera,
There it is.
but I would let you say, I would indulge all of my. I would spoil myself, Robin.
Yep.
I would spoil myself.
All right.
To sharply pivot from that to Atticus Finch in maybe the worst transition I've ever done in my life.
In Spanish, you would say, me doy todos los gustos.
I like all
Meaning,
I like all the wants, loves.
I would give myself all of my wildest desires. Todos los gustos.
You're gonna watch Todos Los Gustos after we shoot.
That should be the name of my book, Todos los gustos.
Oh, I like that. That's actually
like
the
that?
Spanish working vision. You know when you go like abroad and they have
I
like
call my book Todos los gustos.
they have like Terminator and it's called like something completely different
Yeah.
in Europe. I was like, well, okay, that's the title.
Todos los gustos. Yeah,
Todos los gustos.
it's great.
Yeah, but I'm excited for Finch because like we talked a lot. I've seen what you can
Yeah.
do, and I mean it's filling a hole that we all need in the legal industry, and doing it in an what's the word you use when people want it? Not workflow. It's automation in a non-pushing
Non-automated.
automation way.
I think that word is tough for people. I'll say that like the at the heart of this is give you a little more leverage to do the stuff that works for your practice. Like what will, please?
He's pouring more. He's got to do it to stay awake.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
The things that help you grow your practice are bringing in new clients. It is great if you're an excellent litigator. You almost owe it to the world to be able to serve as many clients as you can without dropping a ball. And that's where the Atticus vision comes in. Is like what we eventually care about is access to justice for more people. Something we've kind of uncovered having Finch lets you do is these cases that might not have met the bar of worth your time start to. There's like sub 10,000 case suddenly becomes worth doing if everything can be on track with pre-litigation for the right cost.
It doesn't burn a lot of time with your
Your staff isn't. You're focusing like
Yeah, like exactly what I was going to say. I mean,
yeah.
through Bob, I've met lots of law firm owners that own huge firms. They sign up thousands and thousands of cases.
Yeah.
And they're able to do it through technology. They're able to service all these people. Like at my office, we do a small volume, knock on wood, we're a small boutique.
But you're concentrated on
Shop.
like your clients and learning their story. And
we do everything like, hands on.
When you open up his case management system, they actually have a picture of their client.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I have a picture of the client. Yeah, so like we do everything hands on, but we're in a small volume thing. But when you're doing this gigantic volume stuff, I see where you would need automation. You have to.
It's either that or it's I really do resonate the most with the like. I won't talk about DoorDash infinitely, but like we're helping small business.
Exactly. You're like your wheelhouse to be solo mid-sized firms because they can be so efficient in their niche. They can help a lot of people.
Yeah,
The big firms are hard to adapt to these things. They just
it is. And the benefit of this like service model is there's not new tools to learn and set up. What that means is most days we ink a partnership. By that day, we start working cases for you. Because there's not I have to retrain my staff or an onboarding process or a tool to learn. There's just, here's a person who will work your cases that is well-versed enough at picking the right technical flow. So almost every time when
So it's almost like you're
yeah.
You're the PM for DoorDash. It's almost like you're dropping in
Yes.
a product manager into a firm and figuring out what they need, how to have deliverables automated. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, and without that, being a good PM is actually not being. People often like the PM role because it feels like I'm the CEO of my product. Like, it's not that. The good PMs are really good at listening to the end customer and building the workflow around them and building the right product for them. And so what we are doing is jumping into a firm. We are really good at the tech stuff. So when that is going to give you leverage, we are going to pull it in first. We're going to pull in the voice AI to get you off of phone calls and being on hold, computer use to get you off of like refreshing a website, pull you every demand that will still get reviewed by an amazing paralegal before it sees your eye. So you're not going to worry about the hallucination or the like, what if we missed a big step?
But you're asking questions first.
But we're asking
you
questions
deploy
first.
somebody in and say, how can we help you?
Yes. And because usually when someone's being pitched to, you all get what, like how many emails or calls from different tech vendors every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
By the way, don't send him stale cookies because he'll never work with you ever
Never.
again.
Don't send me don't send me anything with a retail value of less than $5.
Understood. Bourbon and hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than $5, you're a hero. Less than $5, when you've really shown that I'm nobody.
Understood.
You know?
Understood.
Nobody.
I'll say that most of the time you're receiving one of these emails or the stale cookies or whatever it is, you're not thinking about my practice is perfect. Let me go optimize it with a tech
Like there's
tool.
this company, I'm gonna give them a plug called Compass. I don't even know what the fuck they do, but they sent me the coolest plant. They sent me a plant.
Oh, that's
And
delightful.
I have it on my desk. It's fucking great. I don't even know what they do.
Did you take a call with them?
No, but I
right.
love the
Well,
plant.
you know who works
They sent
there,
me a plant and it was fucking great.
You know Amanda Greenberg, who I love? She works at Compass now. You would know. She's a lawyer. She's
What
awesome.
they do, but they sent me like this succulent plant that's so cool. I have it on my desk. I love it.
Now I know what to send you.
Yeah, send me a plant.
Something novel and weird for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Viraj, we're at the end of the episode here. We do something called What's Your Bourbon of Proof, and you cannot select your mixed drink. Actually, you know what? You can. I don't want you to pick one of these bourbons, because it'll probably be the Peerless, because
It was an
obvious answer.
Yeah.
Peerless Rye is great, but what would be your? You mix a lot of cocktails. One, what's the most annoying one that people order? And two, what's yours? What's the one that you like to do?
I think I'll go in reverse order because the Naked and Famous surprises people. People who don't love mezcal will like this drink.
Sure.
It'll be a turn the tides on it, and so I've loved serving this to people and seeing the glimmer in their eyes when they try it. Bartenders conventionally hate making mojitos because it is I have to dig up the mint and muddle, and there's a lot of steps to it. I love it because the joy someone gets from the mint and the garnish.
I feel that bartenders hate to make old fashions too because
Really?
there's a lot of shit.
Seems like it's
a lot
so
of stuff.
easy.
Old fashioned is easy. I love an old fashioned. I'll make that all day.
I feel like a blended drink people would hate at a bar.
Yeah.
Or like a sex on the beach or whatever. That's hard to make.
That one will be a little more. I think Long Islands are fun to make because someone's going to have a great night and spend a lot of money. So if you're
And
a
they're
bartender,
usually underage. If you're in a Long Island iced tea, you're either
should
under
double check
18 or over 75.
But I worked for a while at a golf simulation studio and I made a lot of transfusions. And I would say that was not a fun
We have a
one.
lot to talk off after here. So,
Yeah.
Viraj, thank you for coming on. Look for Finch Legal. I'm excited about your journey and working together a lot, partner with Justice HQ and stuff that we do. And we're going to watch the off-camera.
Beat Shazam.
No, we're going to watch that, but we're going to watch this thing from Sam Rockwell because it's you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
That too.
Okay.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Thank you for having me. Cheers, guys.
Old news by the time this.